Hello, Wayne Roach is my name. I'm going to read to you chapter 38 of the Good News of Exodus. For burning offerings, he made an altar out of acacia wood. It was square 7.5 feet long and 7.5 feet wide, and it was 4.5 feet high. He made the projections at the top of the four corners, so that they formed one piece with the altar. He covered it all with bronze. He also made all the equipment for the altar, the pans, the shovels, and the bowls, the hooks, and the fire pans. All this equipment was made of bronze. He made a bronze grating and put it on the rim of the altar so that it reached halfway up the altar. He made 4 carrying rings and put them on the 4 corners, and made carrying poles of acacia wood and covered them with bronze, and put them on the rings on each side of the altar. The altar was made of boards and was hollow. He made the bronze basin and its bronze base out of the mirrors belonging to the women who served at the entrance of the tent of the Lord's presence. For the tent of the Lord's presence he made the enclosure out of the fine linen curtains. On the south side the curtains there was 50 yards long, supported by 20 bronze posts and 20 bronze bases, with hooks and rods made of silver. The enclosure was the same on the north side. On the west side there was curtains 25 yards long, with 10 posts and 10 bases, with hooks and rods made of silver. On the east side, where the entrance was, the enclosure was also 25 yards wide. On each side of the entrance, there was 7.5 yards of curtains, with 3 posts and 3 bases. All the curtains around the enclosure was made of fine linen. The basins for the 4 posts was made of bronze, and the hooks, the rods, and the covering on the top of the posts was made of silver. All the posts around the enclosure were connected with silver rods. The curtain for the entrance of the enclosure was made of fine linen woven with blue, purple, and red wool, and decorated with embroidery. It was 10 yards long and 2.5 yards high, like the curtains of the enclosure. It was supported by 4 posts and 4 bronze bases. Their hooks, the covering of their tops, and their rods were made of silver. All the pegs from the tent and for the surrounding enclosure was made of bronze. Here is the list, the amounts of the metals used in the tent of the Lord's presence, where the 2 stone tablets were kept on which the 10 Commandments was written. The list was ordered by Moses and made of the Levites who worked under the direction of Ithamar, son of Aaron the priest. Bezalel, the son of Uri and grandson of Hur from the tribe of Judah, made everything that the Lord had commanded. His helper, Oholiab, son of Ahisamach from the tribe of Dan, was an engraver, a designer, and a weaver of fine linen and blue and purple and red wool. All the gold had been dedicated to the Lord for the sacred tent weighed 2,195 pounds, weighed according to the official standard. The silver from the sentence of the community weighed 7,550 pounds, weighed according to the official standard. This amount equaled the total paid by all persons enrolled in the census, each one paying the required amount weighed according to the official standard. There were 603,550 men 20 years old or older enrolled in the census. Of the silver, 7,500 pounds were used to make the 100 bases for the sacred tent, and for the curtain, 75 pounds for each base. With the remaining 50 pounds of silver, Bezalel made the rods, the hooks for the posts, and the covering for their tops. The bronze, which was dedicated to the Lord, amounted to 5,310 pounds. With it he made the basis for the entrance of the tent of the Lord's presence, and the bronze altar with its bronze grating, all the equipment for the altar, all the bases for the surrounding enclosure and for the entrance of the enclosure, and all the pegs for the tent and the surrounding enclosure. Yes, I'm Wayne Roach. Good night and go.